Whitespace is significant in Python in ways that you may not be accustomed to if you are familiar with other scripting languages. Let's go ahead and make a working copy of syntax.py, and we can look at whitespace in Python. Call it syntax-whitespace.py. Go ahead and open that up, and you'll notice that this main function consists of one statement, a print statement, and that print statement is indented 4 spaces, and that actually tells Python that this print statement is associated with this main function. It's actually the body of the main function. 4 spaces are traditional in Python. You can use 2, you can use 1, it'll work just as well. It does have to be consistent. In other words, if I have more than one line here, and if that other line is indented, say 3 spaces instead of 4, if I save that and run it, you'll see that I get a syntax error. And it says, unindent does not match any other outer indentation level. So Python got confused. We indented this one 4 spaces, we indented this one 3 spaces, and it just got confused. It didn't know what to do with that. So the indentation has to be the same amount. Save that and run it, and we'll see that that works. Now, if I take this second line and I indent it back at the same level as the function definition, then it is no longer part of the body of that function. And so what will happen when I run this is we'll actually see this line. This is another line before the syntax file. And the reason for that is because that'll get executed on the first pass through here before we call main. Main gets called at the end of the file. So this line will be printed first and then this line. So we'll save that and we'll run it. And you see this is another line and then this is the syntax file. So by bringing the indentation out to the same level as the definition, it is now no longer part of the body of that function. We'll go ahead and indent that again and save it and run it. And we see that it works as we expect with this second line after the first line. So indentation as whitespace is significant in Python because Python doesn't use curly braces or any other characters to indicate the body of a function or what they call a suite, what we might call a block of code that's associated with a particular control structure. These indents are used for conditionals, they're used for classes, they're used for any place where you might need to associate a block of text with a particular control structure. Now, there is one circumstance where the indentation and the white space is not actually significant. If you have just one line of code in a particular structure, and that's all there is not more than one line of code, that one line of code can be on the same line as the control structure itself. So if I put this print here and I can put a space or not put a space or put several spaces, it'll work exactly the same. And I save this and run it, you see that it still works. Just like this if statement down here has one line of code, which is the function call for main. Now this function definition for main has just one line of code, the print. And in this case, the white space is not significant. I can have 5 spaces, I can have 1 space, and it still runs just the same. That's a special case for where there's just one line of code in a particular structure. And so under most circumstances where you have a function or a class or something like that, and you have more than one line of code, you'll see the indentation used. And 4 spaces is traditional, and the indentation has to be consistent all the way through the block or the suite of code.